I'll give you everything I fucking have. Every fucking secret, every tactic, every connection I can give you, answer you when I can, give you the best content that I can, give you the blueprint that got me here when I can, try to fucking extract everything that's in my fucking soul for you for free. You can keep your money. I'm playing for your admiration and I want to earn it. Like I want to be the great entrepreneur of this generation. There'll be people who make more money than me. There'll be people that invent more, but nobody's gonna give a fuck about their audience.
Hello everyone. Welcome to the Construct. My name is Upili Legani Mpemba. So basically what we're covering today is I want to take you through like a bill of quantity. It's going to be a lengthy video. I'm going to try and keep it as short as possible and try and keep it as simple as possible. Just for you to be able to get your first tender in, you need to know what information you need to put in. If you've never filled out a bill of quantity document or a tender document, it's daunting, you know, and I wish I had a YouTube video that I could watch and just be able to fill it out. So what I normally do is, and what I normally do is, you have just one and fill it out, and every time that you need to, because BOQs are plus minus the same. So I'm going to look through these and see what info we can cover, all the information. So regardless of which one you're doing, you still got all the information that you need. BOQs are also dependent on what you are tendering for, and also which side are you tendering from. Are you tendering from a contractor side? Are you tendering from a supplier side? From the contractor side, they will want your price of materials and your works and everything else. And then with just supply, it's just, okay, cool, we want you to supply toilet paper for this amount and whatever this quantity, and then you tender for it. So there's contractor and there's supply. I'm going to be going through which is the easiest one, which is, it's different, and with that you actually need to know, like you need to get trained on it. You need to know what you're doing. Like you can't just decide it's, oh Yazini, today, you know what, I just woke up today and I want to be a contractor and I don't know anything about it. So you have to actively go into it. A lot of people go into it by being like, how can I call this? Being like, they'll help out like on sites and whatever, and get to know like the theory behind it. And most of the time, the person that actually owns the contracting business is not the one that is actually doing the work. So they will contract people to do it. Like you need to find a person that does like a bricklayer or whatever. You don't do it yourself, but you have to be amongst, and you have to employ people that are capable of doing it, because obviously that is under your company now. So what we're basically doing is, I brought out the whole desk and everything today because we are doing something very formal. Start here. We first have to determine the difference between an RFQ and a BOQ. An RFQ is a request to quote, and a BOQ is a bill of quantities. So a bill of quantities is basically saying the labor, like literally just the labor, the material, everything, like what is needed. Bill of quantities, like the exact amount of the quantities that are needed for the projects. And an RFQ is a request to quote on a certain item. So know the difference, know what you're filling out. And so I thought, you know what, let's do one. Let's do one of the simpler ones, which would be Transnet, which is something that probably as a startup you'd want to supply for. So let's do a Transnet. So this is a request for quotation, as I said before. So this is a request for quotation. It basically just gives you the information on what you need, what's the name of the product, what's the name of the project, where do you deliver to, the date, and obviously like the closing time and the closing, it's just basically like the cover page of the tender document. So you basically just get all the information. Like this one is for the supply and delivery of fiberglass extension ladder and portable earth line. All right, okay. I'm not really well versed in this product, but obviously because they are pretty much the same across all products that you're going to be supplying, it's going to be the same document. It's just that you're going to be supplying something different. So the skeleton is the same. So let's go through it. And the first part it's pretty simple. Like the first page would be like where you put in like your basic information, your contact details, just everything. If you're a foreign supplier, then you tick on like the second page. So the first couple of pages are pretty like basic, and then like your section 2 is just your notice, like your description, like literally like everything that you need to know about the tender, where you get like all the contact information, where do you get if you want to ask questions, if you want to lay a complaint, like literally just everything about the tender and what closing time, delivery, lead time. So it's just basically everything that you're going to be needing just to know. So those are basically the first couple of pages. I'm not going to go through like every page, like page and page, because most of the stuff, like right now I'm on page 8, and it's basically things that you need to know. Page 10 is literally just the evaluation with methodology, the evaluation methodology, and it's the 80-20 rule, and it's just gives you a step to step on what from the time that you give what is it that they look for when they're evaluating. So it's from step 1, it's just the admin part, which is what we're doing here, and then your minimal threshold, like your local content, and then it would be your weighted average on just price versus BEE. So they're basically just giving you a rundown of how they calculate everything. And then the next couple of documents are just returnable documents that you need to put in, but it's not returnable documents because you need to send in the whole thing, but it's just like step on just like that whole diagram. Let me show you like this whole diagram on how like it breaks it down, basically the 6 steps. It breaks it down on, okay, cool, what do they need, and then they tell you, like especially like on page 14, you should always just go in there and just essential returnable documents, like the documents that you're supposed to be returning with the tender. Just make sure, like especially when you're finished, go to page 14 and tick all those boxes and make sure that all of the stuff that they say that you have to have in there, make sure that you have it with the tender. So that's just the next couple of pages. That's from 15, and then page 16. Page 16, there it goes. It's basically just your quotation form on the tender, and as much as they give you this part, né? And you fill it out, and you put in the rate and everything. You still have to fill in your own tender document, your own quotation on your own template. So in as much as they give you this, you still need to attach your own quotation on your own template. So just on this part, what I'd want to cover here is, obviously when you're a startup, you're not going to be a VAT registered vendor, né? So always make sure that you put in your 15% for VAT. Like for instance now, your 15% for VAT, put it in your rate, because you can't put it on there because you're not a VAT vendor. But you still have to you still have to put in the VAT, because just because you're not a VAT vendor does not mean there's not going to be VAT charged. So you have to make sure that you make provisions for it here. So your rate will be plus the 15%. That will be your standard rates, and then on the VAT part, then you put in 0. It's not really like a bummer for the fact that you're putting in your rate, because obviously on your VAT, where you're supposed to be putting in VAT, you're going to be putting in 0 anyway, because you've already made provisions for it. But it's because you're not a VAT vendor, that's why you can't put it there. So it doesn't really kill you that much. It just covers your butt when you do get awarded and you have to be buying the stuff that you're buying, because they will give you the price ex VAT, but when you buy it, it's going to be plus VAT. So always make sure that with your prices, your plus VAT, and you always make sure that you factor in your VAT, always, regardless of whether you're a VAT vendor or not. So, and then obviously delivery time, which is your lead time. I have like a whole video on this. Lead time, 30, 90 days. Always make sure that you just that you can keep that price for that long. So just make sure that you can do that. And then we go to notes on pricing. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. And then page 18, right? It says certificate of acquaintance with RFQ documents. It's just basically telling you that you are not well versed, but you are well acquainted with this document. You know what it says, you know what it requires, and you are capable of understanding and supplying it. So that's what it basically says. And then you put in all your signatures there on page 19 with your witnesses and all that jazz. And then section 6 is RFQ, declaration of breach of law form. It's just basically saying that everything that you put in here is within the law. There's no breach. You haven't done any funny manga business in order to to do it. So it's basically saying that I understand that there's a law that comes with this, and I have to be truthful and all that jazz. So that's what it basically says there. You put in your details. If you do have a breach, then you'd obviously put it on page 21, and you'd say, okay, cool, the manner of the breach. I've never had to come across any breach, so I wouldn't know what breaches people disclose out there. But I would imagine probably, I don't know if that would be a breach, but if you know someone within the organization or something like that. Oros, guys. Oros. So yeah, you put in there, you put in your signature, just all your stuff there. And then page 22 is where BE is where you put in like what points you qualify for, whether you're level 1, level 2, level 3. So they basically tell you there on page 23, if you are level 1, then you it's 20 points, so you get the full 20 points, and then the 80 lies are 2 points. So the stronger your BE and the stronger your price gets you at a better chance of being awarded basically. So the next couple of stuff, and then you fill that out in the next couple of pages. And then on page 25, it's just basically if you're going to be, if some projects require you. I know that Onongoma, Ofraheti, they normally like require you to subcontract 25% to the local people, to local companies wherever you're doing the project. So it could be in that form. It could be that you're deciding no, you actually want to subcontract in your own capacity. So it could be that also. So this page you just basically say, okay, cool, because 25% of the project is going to be subcontracted to an EME. This is the company's name. This is what they do. And then obviously that contributes to your BE points as well, like in terms of like the whole document. So that's where you put it in if you are going to be subcontracting. And then section 8, you put in that information regardless of whether you are subcontracting or not. So you put in all of that information, and then obviously describe your principal business activities, and that would be manufacturing of this. You're a supplier of this and this and this. So you basically just describe what's your core business activities. You put it in there. Page 26, you put in how long you've been operating for, and then your signature, then your address and all that jazz. And then section 8 is certificate of independent bid determination. So it's basically saying that, okay, cool, I am bidding for this. I understand what it is. I know what is expected of me, and I am able to supply. So that's basically what you fill out. You're basically saying there, you're filling out your details to say, yes, I do. And then on page 30, they have what is called a clause by clause compliance with specification questionnaire. So there, it's basically saying, oh, okay, cool, this is the spec of what we want you to supply. Are you giving as per spec? If not, what is the spec that you are giving? Because sometimes in projects, they are asking for something that is not really a standard size. So you might say the product that I'm going to supply is going to make this up, but maybe we'll break it into 4 parts, or break it into 2, or so you are meeting the spec, but this is how you're going to meet it. So that's basically what it's saying. So if you're not going to be meeting the standard spec, how is it that you're going to deviate, and how you're going to make sure that you are still meeting the overall spec in terms of what is required. So that's basically, if it's just standard, you are giving them exactly as per spec, then you just say comply. And then the last couple of the last one would be your declaration of local production and content. So basically saying, okay, cool, this is my project, and the materials that I'm using are bought from local manufacturers. If, for instance, you're going to be importing some of the stuff, then at the back it gives you a document that basically just breaks down what is the local content percentage, what is the imported content percentage, and just to what does it equate to in terms of the value of your project. So if, let's say, the project is 100,000. You're saying I'm supplying 50,000 worth of local content, and I'm supplying 50,000 worth of imported products. 10% and just to what does it equate to in terms of the value of your project. So if, let's say, the project is 100,000. You're saying I'm supplying 50,000 worth of local content, and I'm supplying 50,000 worth of imported products. So that's basically the last part. And if you are going to be but obviously we don't do that. We do local is lekker. So that part you just put in 100%. But obviously, if you're going to be importing some stuff, then you just get the percentage in and you put it in. And obviously that contributes to the overall percentage of local goods, and if you're going to be awarded or not. So always make sure that you are gunning to get local content. You are gunning to be BE level 1. You are gunning for the best price in order to put yourself into the right position. Well, I hope that I've answered, at least I've shed a bit of light in just helping you to get your first tender out, and obviously to become a little bit more well versed in this document, because it's tedious and it's just it's actually the worst part of wanting to start going into tenders, is because it's just so much work, it's so much admin, it's just you have to be signing. So just dedicate like an afternoon, grab yourself a glass of wine, put in some music, and just fill it out. Once you get into the groove of the first, the second, and the third one, then it literally just becomes, okay, cool, pretty much the same thing. It's just knowing it for the first time and knowing exactly what you are signing for, and knowing that you are capable, because you don't want to get into a position where now you've been awarded a project that you're not really capable of supplying, and then now you have to withdraw, and then just all of that mess. So rather just get yourself acquainted, and more than anything, there's a video that I have about submitting tenders strategically. So I think you need to, if you haven't watched that one, definitely give that one a watch, because in as much as you might be able to fill out a tender document, it doesn't mean that you are necessarily being strategic about it. So I've got like a couple of pointers that I want you to know and kind of grab on, and so you can get like better at this, be a bit more smoother. So that's when you've gotten the whole hang of all of this, and you've gotten like the hang of, okay, what is it that you're doing, and how is it that you're doing it, and then now you want to be a bit earlier, it's that video is definitely a must watch. So my name is Upile Mpemba yet again. Thank you for coming on to the Construct. Thank you for coming on again. If it's your first time, thank you for coming into the channel. If it's your second, thank you for coming back. And if I hope you're a regular. So, and I'll see you on the next episode. Bye.